Hey guys, Allan Builds here, and today I'll show you how to test your alternator. Here is the alternator. Before we test the alternator, make sure the battery is completely charged. We're gonna set this multimeter into DC volts because we're measuring a direct current. If your multimeter has DC 20 volts, just set into it. Just connect this red to the positive and the black connect to the negative. As you can see, 12.6 volts. This is completely charged. This is perfect to test the alternator. I'm gonna start up the car. If this rise up to 14.2 to 14.5 volt, it means your alternator is working properly and charging to the battery. If this rise up to 15 volt, it means the alternator overcharging the battery and it could damage your battery. Let's start up the car. As you can see, 14.2 volt, it means the alternator is charging the battery properly. I'm gonna put the load in the system. I'm gonna turn on the AC, headlight, fog light, radio, and hazard lights. We don't wanna see the reading below 13 volts. AC on, radio, headlight, and fog light. And hazard lights on. As you can see, 13.9 volts, which is good. This is what we want to see. I'm gonna shut the car off. That's the surface charge. It means the alternator is charging. This drop back down 12.6 volts. The last thing to do is the voltage drop test. But before we do that, make sure this belt is tight. If this is loose, the alternator cannot spin. Make sure this wire doesn't disconnect from alternator all the way to the battery. You cannot see this cable underneath the intake manifold, but this goes through the other side. Here is the wire from alternator connected to the negative terminal and to the chassis right there. And here is the wire from alternator connected to the positive battery and connected to the fuse. The wire is underneath the intake manifold. Here is the intake manifold. And the wire goes through the other side right there. Connected to the positive terminal and to the fuse right there. And now we can start the voltage drop test. Let's put this cable out of the way using the bungee cord. Here is the B plus post. Let's test first the positive side of the battery. Let's connect this red to the red and the black is connected to the B plus post. If the reading above 0.3 volts, it means we have an issue. When you do this test, Don't forget to turn on the bunch of accessories like radio, headlights and fog lights, hazard lights, and air conditioning. And rev up the engine up to 2000 RPM. As you can see, just 0.045 is below the 0.3 volt, which is good. And the next is to test the negative side of the battery. Let's connect this block to the negative terminal and the red connect to the alternator case. We don't want the reading above 0.1 volts. As you can see, just 0.09 volts is below the 1 volts. And the next to test is the chassis ground. As you can see, still below 0.1 volt is just 0.01 volt. The last thing to test is the engine block. Just be careful when you test the engine block. It's so hot and then the fan on, so just extra careful. Still below 0.1 volts is just 0.09 volts, so we're good. Just keep testing the ground until you find a bad connection. Just sun it and give it a good clean. That could solve your charging problem. Just do this alternator test when you have a charging problem like trouble starting the car or frequent stalling. When you turn the key in the ignition, all you'll hear is a clicking sound and your battery seems weak and squeaking sounds from the alternator. Those are some signs of a bad alternator. This test is specifically for the alternator. If you wanna see how to test the battery, I put the link in the description down below. If you found this helpful, please share, like, and consider subscribing and hit that bell notification so you are the first one to get notified when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching and drive safely.